Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video, what we're going to be covering is Open Broadcaster Software's interface and how all the pieces within that interface work. So let's take a look at the interface itself. So as we look here, there's a lot of pieces going on, but let's go ahead and break it down before we move any further. So this big space in the middle is called the canvas. All of the images and things that are going to appear on the screen are going to fit inside this canvas. Moving down to the bottom here, we have our first column entitled Scenes. What scenes are is they're different looks for different canvases, and you can make canvases to suit different types of streams and different things of that nature. So what you can do is you can add and subtract those with these buttons down here. But we'll talk about that more in a minute. Sources are the pieces of media that are going to appear on the canvas. There's no limit to how many sources you can have. It's essentially anything that you want to appear on the stream. Moving over to the middle here, we have our audio mixer. What it is it's an audio feedback visual for your microphone and all your computer's audio. So anything that is playing through your computer speakers or you want to be tracked can be like tracked through here. So if something's too loud or too quiet, you can adjust it with these sliders. Moving on to scene transitions here, I wouldn't worry about this for now. We'll go ahead and skip over it. But essentially, during a live stream, you can swap between scenes and add a little transition in between them. Moving on over to controls, these are all the buttons that will actually run the live stream. So when you want to start streaming and stop streaming, this is where you'll go to start everything. Also to note in here, there's the settings button and the exit button. The settings was what we use to track the more advanced details of the stream, but we won't be covering that in this video either. Alright, so taking a look back at the canvas, I want you guys to think of this as an artist's workshop. And so what we have here in the canvas is here's the piece of art that we're creating, okay? And our sources is going to be our paintbrush. So to get the painting going here, what we're going to do is we're going to add our visuals. And so when I click the sources button here, you'll get a number of different options. And so what each of these options does, it's like a different kind of paint. You can add a different kind of visual to your canvas, right? And so what we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick, simple, detail here. And so I'm going to do a window capture on my paint board. And so essentially, what this is going to do is when I click this, it's going to bring up the option to create a new source. I'm going to hit OK. And then you're going to have this big window to select what window you want to be capturing. And I'm going to click this window to scroll down. And essentially, I'm going to use my MS Paint window. Boom. I'm going to hit OK. And there we go. Everything in my MS Paint window that's open right now is visible. So you can do with this with any number of things. You can do it with any program that's on your computer. So a lot of people like to do this with PowerPoint. So if you were to open Microsoft PowerPoint, you would be able to capture this in real time. Let me give an example here with my MS Paint example. So as you're looking at this, I am actually in MS Paint and I'm moving it around and showing little details of things that I've done. So essentially what you can do is you can do live demonstrations or operate within your apps to show for your live stream, which is very cool. This can also be done with internet windows. So say I want to take my students to a website, right? I could capture a Google Chrome window. And so what you're going to do for that is you're going to go to add another source. You're going to do a window capture. Hit OK. And you're going to capture the Chrome tab that I have open now. And so here you can guide your students through Chrome and do whatever you need to do within here. So if I need to look up some slides, I can. If I want to show you guys a slideshow, that's perfect, That's essentially what window capturing is. And so that's that piece of art. But you can also add things on top of each other, right? And so the thing I'm gonna add over, like people commonly use like video capture devices to add things over, but because my computer doesn't have one, I'm just gonna add a simple image, right? And hopefully this is where you'll start to see that this is a canvas coming together. So I'm just gonna go into my pictures and grab a random picture. I will just grab a picture of me, and boom, it's on my live stream. And you can resize this and position it just like you can anything else. Place it in the corner, whatever you need to do. So essentially what a lot of people like to do is they'll have a live stream up with slideshows, you know, doing demonstrations, and they'll have their webcam in the corner if they need it. Or what you could do is you could essentially swap these two and have your camera be the main canvas there. So what I'm going to do here, just to show how that works, I would go ahead and just take away the image by pressing the minus button in the sources. Yes, I would like to remove the image. And I'll just go ahead and clear out the window capture and the other window capture. So now we have a blank slate. And so, say we wanted to do a camera, what we could do is we go down to a video capture device, hit OK, and right here is where you would see your cameras. So just play around with it. It'll preview what's in there, but essentially it'll work the same way as the other items, and you can resize them. I don't have a webcam, but if I did, I would be able to use it as my entire canvas. And so moving on to one more thing I want to show you before we get off the topic of sources. There's the idea of using, you know, your display capture. And so what your display capture is, it captures anything on your computer screen. So this will be handy in cases where you're going to be hopping around and you don't want to have to deal with adding a bunch of, you know, different windows during the live stream. So this is definitely the easiest way to live stream. So I'm just going to show you that real quick. So I'm just going to add a new display capture, yes. And this is capturing everything that's on my main display on the other tab. So I'm going to hit OK. And as you can see, everything from my icons down below to what's on my screen is visible. So like I'm on Google Slides website right now, but if for some reason I wanted to show my students, say Spotify, you know, say we're going over music, what we can do is we can just open up Spotify and everything that pops up in my computer screen is there. This is, you know, probably the way I would recommend you start out streaming, just because it's the lightest load in terms of putting it together. But in terms of, you know, getting everything set up, you know, the other ones you can kind of piece together in different ways. So like in a situation you wouldn't want to use this is if you only wanted the students to be focused on your slideshow and you knew you wouldn't be swapping off of it, then you would want to be using the window capture, right? Because if a notification or anything pops up in this window in my display capture, the students will see it. And so for privacy reasons, you may not want to use this. But nonetheless, you can. All right. So moving on, we're just going to go one last overview of all of this stuff right here. So each of these, as I mentioned earlier, has their own use, but you're really only going to want to use these like 4. So that would be window capture, video capture, display capture, and maybe even your image, just depending on how it works. And you guys can play around with that and match those up together. Like I said, there's no limit on what you can put together or how many of it, you know. So just play around and see what looks good. I highly recommend testing out your stream before you go live. And, you know, if you're trying out a new stream setup, I would definitely just like do a light run on a private server first, but we'll talk about that more in the next section. Anyways, guys, I believe that covers it. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. You can always email me at lawsonzm@miamioh.edu. And I'll also be attaching a guide to OBS at the bottom of this unit in case you want to go over anything in more detail. But for now, I'll leave you guys there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.